Yo, what's happening, people? What's going on? Happy Saturday, wherever you are. It is humid, and we're in this weird rain pattern right now, and it it's like you can go outside for like an hour or two at a time, and then it gets real dark. It rains real hard, then it stops. Then you can go back outside for a little bit. Then it gets dark and it rains real hard. So I did my burger of the month. Then I did that at Five Guys. So welcome to July, ladies and gentlemen. We're in 7. Make sure when you sign in those checks, you hit 7-1. Okay, don't try to 630 it. You are in July, and we are literally bearing down the door of some big time intellectual property coming. We got a release date on Madden. Madden is coming out in let's see here. Madden will be out in 1, 2, 3, 4 in 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So so we got that. We got Starfield coming out. You have a major price reduction on GPUs and CPUs. And yeah. And if you don't know, Starfield, they have Microsoft with Bethesda has signed a contractual deal for FSR. They're not going to be using DLSS, at least not at the beginning. So all these people that have NVIDIA cards, they just got shafted with the high hard one. So, and again, you have to remember, I still have my CPU, and I'm sorry, GPU. I have a RDNA 2 GPU right now, but I am going to switch to the 3060. Like I said, right around my birthday, which is in August. So I'll be playing that Starfield game on PC, but I won't probably be playing it until September. I may try it out on Game Pass on the Xbox, but as I said before, the Xbox is going back to the store. The plan is to take it there on, I guess it looks like, yeah, I said the end of July. I can't remember if I said the end of July or August. I think I'm taking it back at the end because I got my new memory coming in for my computer. I got that. Got 3000 hertz coming for RAM 16. What else did I get today? I got like 2 things from Amazon today. I can't remember what the other one was. But I think it's the end of July. I think July 29th. Yeah, July 29th. So yeah, I may not be getting on Starfield until September. But yeah, August is when all the parts will go in. I am going to get another motherboard. It's a coin flip between the X570 motherboard and the 5500B. So it's a coin toss. Whichever is the cheapest on the day I walk in, which will be on the 7th, that'll be motherboard time. And I'm going to try to do it with the, I think I have a 650 power unit. I may have to get another power unit. But anyway, what are you all doing? What are you all playing? I am playing Mass Effect on the PS5. I finished the Pharos mission. I'm just doing all the little odds and ends missions before I start honing in on the Novaria mission, which is what I like to call the beginning of the end of the game. So the end of that game takes about 5 to 6 hours. It's typical Bethesda RPG. So what is going on? Who is here? We also have a poll up. And we have a poll up, and it is, will Microsoft pull all first-party games from PlayStation consoles? So what do you all think? It's either a yes or a no. Also, I did hear, let's see here. I did hear some excerpts of the closing on Thursday, this past Thursday, of the FTC's case with Microsoft. And I don't know how many of you all listened to any of that. And what did you all think of the closing the government gave? That's the government, the FTC. I think they gave a compelling argument. They caught Microsoft on a lot of inconsistencies. So we'll have to wait and see what the judge decides. We don't know what the judge is going to decide. I heard of several people. I think Sick Humor thought that they were still going to block the deal. And I think J-Tech was saying that they're not going to block the deal. So I think that's what they were both saying. Somebody can remind me of that. And but we got some news for Sony and for the people who are, I guess, I mean, there's actually people saying that if Microsoft buys, if the FTC says that they're going to let them buy Bethesda, my goodness, Activision, that Sony needs to go ahead and try to get their hands on Ubisoft. There's more people breaking towards Ubisoft, but I saw some reasons why. And it would make some sense. Again, shout out to Lono, because I did not see that. I still think WB Games makes more sense for Sony, but that's just my opinion. I did that last week. So multiple people gave their opinions on it, which is fine. That's what we were looking for, dialogue. WB Games makes more sense to me than Ubi, but I can actually see what Lono was saying now. What Ubi would give Sony, basically the way Sony is moving, and I'll show you why. There's apparently a driving game coming out. And you know, my big complaint with Sony has been they don't have anything like Forza Horizon. Well, Ubisoft is going to make something for them, and we'll go ahead and get started. But what's up to the people here? The first 48's in the house. Scott Free saying what's up. Emmer17, shout out to your brother. Jeff B Gaming, always a pleasure. Nova Red, bonjour Nova Red. Nice music. Yeah, that's the Chocolate Thunder theme track that I play. You know that. So shout out to everybody here. Zero Steels in the house. So J-Ro, appreciate you, brother. Been a member for 8 months. I definitely appreciate that. Shout out to J-Ro. Alfonso Carter, you've been here a while too. So shout out to all the members, and big shout out to Kenneth Williams, who became a member just a few days ago. Always welcoming the new members. Gotta make sure that your cheeks don't get busted. That the membership is automatic. You get automatic protection. You get a pardon from Chocolate Thunder. So you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, that Hello FTC song, which is a really good song lyrically. I wonder if they don't block the deal, what they're gonna do about that. So kind of like, this song didn't age well, but have to wait and see how that goes. So what is going on, Don? So hello, Don. So, but shout out to everybody here. So shout out. Let's see here. Well, now Judge Son is working for Microsoft. Is that? I do not know. I have not followed the case, like I said, that hard. And I from what I can understand, that Judge has been fair. She's asked tough questions of Sony and Microsoft, which that's what the judge is going to do. You know, she's right. You know, what's preventing Sony from putting God of War on PS Plus, which, you know, Sony answered her, that's not our business model. You know, we have God of War on PS Plus, but not the new God of War. You know, I have not, shame on me. I have only played that new God of War for like an hour and a half, maybe. I just been so busy. So I do need to go back. And I'm, like I said, everybody was like, man, once you get that OLED, you're going to go back and play everything. Like, no, I'm not. I don't double dip. Man, I played that Last of Us again. I finished that. I'm wanting to play The Last of Us Part 2, but I'm holding off. I'm gonna finish Mass Effect. I gotta do it. I'm gonna finish the Aloy game. So I can go ahead and start the Aloy end mission, the end of it. So now I'm just talking about the end of the game, not the DLC or that fake machine. Everybody's talking about that was a real machine she was fighting. Nah, this is not a real machine. That, you know, Sony can't do that. The SSD does not allow these things. But we'll pull that story up first. Shout out to the people at Push Squares. We're gonna beat them up today. We're gonna beat them up, and so we're gonna go to them. Go here. Oh, it's not here anymore. Let's see here. Push Square. Like Foxy Games said, either you're a circle or you're a push square. So first things first, have you heard of the July games that are coming out? I mean, with Alan Wake, and you will get to call in the B2 one more time. You will get to do that. You know, you want to call in the B2 apparently. You know, apparently there's a you'll be able to play Black Ops. And here's what made me mad a little bit. I bought Black Ops on PS Now, or the PS Store for like $24. Now they giving that thing away. So, but if you don't know this, because this is all gaming related today, Assassin's Creed 4, arguably one of the best Assassin's Creeds, which technically it's not the third Assassin's Creed or the fourth Assassin's Creed, but Black Flag is reportedly it's in early development. Now, this is one of my favorite characters in Assassin's Creed. My favorite one, of course, is Ezio, but I do like Kenway. I do like this one. So, and I like the kid in Assassin's Creed 3. Those are my favorite top 3 assassins. And Evie, I think she's pretty cool as well. But and of course, who don't like Cassandra? I mean, you gotta love you some Cassandra, right? So, but this is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed. So I don't know how a remake would work. I don't know if they would change the way the buttons are. I would say they'd have to, because Assassin's Creed 4 is still based on the old engine. So will they make it feel a little more open world? We'll have to see. But again, this has been reported by multiple outlets that they are making an Assassin's Creed 4 and are remaking it. And this is Ubisoft. So yeah, I think this would be a really good remake. I mean, this is my opinion now. But remember, we told you guys that you're going to see a lot of remakes and things like that, because they can just take the new assets that both these consoles will use, and then they will just apply them in new games to just update these games. So the thing is that I get it. If you don't like the games that they're remaking or remastering, you're gonna throw a fit because I want new IP. I want new IP. So, and again, a company that's coming out with a lot of new IP, whether you understand this or not, is Microsoft. They do have a lot of new IP, from the Compulsion Games game to Starfield. That's new IP. That's why people are getting excited about it. So it's 30 frames per second. Like I said, I think that's trash. I mean, I will say this. All of Sony's games that are first party have a 60 FPS mode. Now, they play at 30 as well, but they have a 60 FPS mode. And granted, they're not 4K. I understand that. But a lot of them do. A lot of them do offer it. And a lot of these teams, they're not going to have any ray tracing in Starfield. So it's just that game overall is just a disappointment. But I do think them getting Assassin's Creed, a remake of Assassin's Creed 4, because this is a lot of people's favorite Assassin's Creed. I didn't realize that. Like, hey, yeah, this is my favorite one. Oh, yeah, this is my favorite one. So you're hearing that a whole lot. You're hearing that a whole lot at this point now. So, and if you're following the case, you have to remember the FTC isn't there to defend Sony. I mean, I did hear, shout out to Big Homie Sick Humor. He had to literally tell J-Tech that. I do remember that part of the conversation. He was like, you all are looking at it like the FTC is there to defend Sony. They're not. They're, they're there to give their concerns, to give their concerns of what Microsoft is doing. And I think they did a legitimate job. So, and I think you're going to see Sony, because you're seeing it. I don't know if they're trying to get Roblox now. So a lot of games that Sony does not have right now, they're going to go ahead and get those games. So that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. But with Ubisoft, with their guy, I am now trying to find this. I literally have it in the description. Let me search. Let me go see here. Because people were making fun of Ubisoft with blockchain and stuff like that. It's kind of like, well, they got some stuff coming up, I'm telling you, it is an Ubisoft driving game. I can let that much out of it. Is it The Crew? I think it's The Crew. Let me put this up here. Let's see here. Forgot the name of it, but they're making another Crew game. Talking about Ubisoft, and it is going to be their version of Horizon, Forza Horizon. Yeah, the Crew Motorfest. That's what it is. The Crew Motorfest. Let's put this up on the screen. So, you can pre-order it. But if you don't know about this is what what I have been talking about. One of my main observations, I'll say, is that Sony does not have any game. They don't have any game to compete with Forza Horizon. Okay, and this game is it. But this game is from another independent company, so they wouldn't control the game. But I think it's important that they try to get the game because it is supposed to be a cool game. It is an arcade style racer. And for the people who are like, and here's more information if you don't know about it. But yeah, it celebrates the facets of car culture, explore vibrant Hawaiian open world. So they're going to be in Hawaii racing, collect most of the legendary cars. It's got a release date. Again, driving racing. But this is, and again, I don't know who's buying it, but this is an arcade style racing game that's going to compete with Horizon. Okay, it's not going to compete with Project Cars or Gran Turismo or whatever is it, Assetto, Corollas, whatever it's called, Corolsi or whatever it's called, or F1, which I think F1's coming out at the end of this month. I think it's coming out like the 23rd or something like that, around that time. But Sony needs something like this to compete with Horizon. And again, I now understand what Lono was saying. That's Reforged Gaming when he brought up Ubisoft, because this would give them this game. This would give them down the new Star Wars game that everybody's talking about. This would give them, oh my goodness gracious, Rainbow Six. All that Rainbow Six stuff would be at Sony's leisure. So it's almost to a point, I hate to say this because of I'm not a fatalist, but it's to a point where Sony is going to have to acquire a major publisher. And to me, what they're trying to do with the bigger games and smaller games, Ubi makes the most sense. So I know for a fact that Remedy Games is closer to Sony now than they've ever been. That's why Sony has Alan Wake coming to the Alan Wake remaster coming to PS Plus this month, and they have the marketing to Alan Wake 2. So Sony need to be looking to pull the trigger on that too. That's just, these are, I'm gonna actually move Ubisoft up past Warner Brother games. It's not that I don't think that would be a goodbye too, but to me, Ubisoft and or Warner is fine. I mean, plus a Remedy type of studio. But that's my opinion. I'm not gonna cry myself to sleep if they don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But that now is making a lot more sense to me. But this I thought was huge. The fact that they literally are coming out saying this is going to compete with Forza Horizon, which at this point right now, nor Sony nor Nintendo makes anything like that. Okay, they don't. So let's don't take it there. Okay, let's not take it there. So and you know it, I'm telling the truth, and so let's just move past that. All right, they need a arcade style driving racing game. I have no idea if it's going to support VR. I don't know about that. So but it doesn't say that it is right there now. Just say PS5 version. It's going to support the function, the dual support, and all that. Nothing about VR. Doesn't mean VR won't come down the road later. So, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll definitely have to wait and see. The FTC has proven it feels nothing but a liar. Well, I mean, again, I think what they have shown is that what Microsoft was saying publicly and what they were planning to do, it was almost like Count Dooku. When Count Dooku was hiding the Death Star plans in episode 2. But they've caught Microsoft red-handed with the double speak and stuff like that. It's like, well, we can't say what we're truly going to do, which is pull games off of PlayStation and put them on Xbox permanently, which is what they're going to do. All right, that's why I'm just asking you all's opinion. I've always thought that. I don't think they're spending this amount of money to keep the games crossplay. Yes, they will make more money, but they're doing this to shrink Sony. And that's what Sony's complaint is. Hey, they're not competing fairly. you know, they're using their wallet to compete, and they're not supposed to be able to do that in this market. So it's supposed to be like NASCAR with restrictor plates, versus Indy. When Indy is just open wheel, it's, you know, made a team with the most money. They're gonna get the best research and development on their cars. So definitely have to definitely have to look at it. So look at it a certain way. But yeah, Square Enix is still, I think, a good buy for a Japanese studio. But I've heard people say Capcom, or they should go after Rockstar. Like, I don't, Rockstar for what? One game, Grand Theft Auto, and then what would you do? Pull Grand Theft Auto off of Xbox? They would have to say, they need to go get a publisher, that way they could say, this, and this game will still come out for Xbox, but these games right here, we're not going to be vague about this. They are not coming. We're going to pull them off of Xbox. We'll still support the old stuff with updates and things like that, because Microsoft is going to do that for PlayStation, but they can stop updating whenever they want. Now, they have contracts, but, you know, personally, I think they're going to stop updating games, their games, you know, the old Microsoft, in 5 to 7 years. You know, that's why I'm of the mindset of, go ahead and play. If you're a Call of Duty fan, go ahead and play it now. Go ahead and play it now, because you're not going to be able to, this is just my opinion, in another 3 years. And I realize that everybody in this chat plays Call of Duty. I understand that. So no one wants new IP when new IP comes. Well, I don't disagree with that. I've said before that there's people are on permanent retard mode. They scream they want new IP, then new IP comes out and they immediately attack it. Well, it doesn't do this, it doesn't have that. Well, it's the first game. Play, all right, look at Horizon Zero Dawn. Play Horizon Zero Dawn for 2 hours and then play the new Horizon and see the improvement. The Uncharted. I just mentioned the game with I don't know, I can't remember the name of the game, for goodness sake. One too many beers too early. The Last of Us. You know, look at the improvement from The Last of Us 1 to 2. But you know, look at the Resident Evil games. They're going back and remaking. It's like you all don't, you all, it's almost like there's a group of people, maybe not you all personally, but there's a group of people who are just like, well, it doesn't have this, so it's trash. You know, oh, it won't do this, so it's trash. So it's like, you got to give the stuff time to breathe. You got to let them cook. You know, it's okay. So Ubi is on a redemption path. Mirage and that new Star Wars game is promising. Well, we'll have to wait and see how the Star Wars, because remember, the Star Wars games are judged 2 different ways. One, is it a good game? And then it has to be a good Star Wars game. So again, that's, you know, I've heard people complaining about Jedi, the Jedi Survivor, and I played that, and I'm actually having a good time with it. But I'm a Star Wars fan. So you have to wait and see. Like I said, yeah, I don't know if they'll stick the landing. I'm assuming that they will, but we'll have to wait and see. You know, we'll have to definitely wait and see. But I think it's, you know, they are rebounding. Now, if the Assassin's Creed game comes out and it does well, and I said if it does well, then you're looking at a total redemption. So, and the Star Wars game's got a hit too, but it's just more proof that anybody can go at this point, go to Lucas Games, and they can make games. I mean, I did see where Sony had to defend their whole Spider-Man thing, and they said Sony was right. I mean, at the FTC, the FTC, when they were talking to Sony, you know, they said, well, you know, Microsoft had a game called Sunset Overdrive that only came out for their console, and it was made with Insomniac Games, which is 100% correct. They didn't lie about that. And so Sony recommended Insomniac Games. They didn't recommend a first-party studio make the game. People got to remember, the first Spider-Man game was published by Sony, but Sony didn't make the game. It was made by an independent developer. Now that Sony helped them out, that Sean Layden act as kind of a consigliatory for it. Yeah, he did. But Sony, that was made by Insomniac. They used some of Sony's technology, especially the face capture, the face capture, stuff like that. So, but it is what it is. But I'm excited about the Star Wars game. I'm always excited about it. I'm excited and you can clearly see the time where they're exploring the outer, the outer worlds, the outer planetary system. So, and we'll have to see how it goes. And we're gonna see. So, so was your favorite? It's a little above the Ezio trilogy. Are you talking about Black Flag? Yeah. Yes, it's a lot of people's favorite game. I prefer Assassin's Creed 2 is one of the best games I've played. Now, I still like Origins. I like the setting of Origins, but I can't sleep on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Still it was up for Game of the Year, for crying out loud. So it was up. It was up for Game of the Year. So, and there's a reason why. Beyond Good and Evil 2 would be great. Possibly. But again, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I mean, I'm hearing everybody say that Sony and Microsoft are holding back on announcing certain things. I mean, I'm hearing there's all these people talking about it from, Let's Talk PlayStation. Shout out to him. I think his name is Ryan. Shout out to him. He's even saying it. So we'll have to wait and see. The Star Wars Outlaws so far looks great. Looks good. It does, but remember, that was a vertical slice and that was on a PC. You have to remember that. That was a vertical slice and that was on a PC. So, yeah, but I do believe it did help their stock. So, that Sony struck gold when picking Insomniac up. Yeah, that shocked me. I mean, again, I was at work. And then The Crap Gamer came on. And it said Sony purchases Insomniac, something like that. He did a whole podcast on it. And I was working at hospice and it was slow. So I was able to listen to most of that. Then of course I got home and that's all everybody was talking about. So, but yeah, I say that was a steal. Now these other studios have not bared fruit yet. Everybody knew Insomniac, they had just bared fruit with Spider-Man. But the first game, I was going to put this out on Twitter. What is the first first party Spider-Man game? What's it called? And everybody just said Spider-Man, blah, 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 blah. I said, no, it's actually Miles Morales. Miles Morales was the first Spider-Man game made with Sony being in charge of the studio. They weren't in charge when they made the Spider-Man that we all liked from 2018. So, but yeah, shout out to Insomniac. Yeah, that's a big studio. People got to remember how massive that studio is. I mean, they have like 3 teams, and they have teams backing those teams up. Then they get access to Sony's assets, and Sony will send people from their first party studios over to work with Insomniac. And we'll have to wait. I mean, there's people from Sony Ben working on the Spider-Man 2. Because Sony Ben, although they're working on a new game, they're not needed for that part of the game yet. So Apple might buy stuff with Sony in mind. Apple is one of the companies that wants to buy Warner Brothers assets. People gotta remember, Apple now has Apple TV. Apple has Apple Music. So it is what it is. So you gotta remember that. So not everything is going to be about gaming. So not everything will be about gaming. The snitch said there are trailers uploaded to PlayStation's channel that haven't been shown to the public. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't, it wouldn't shock me, but people just need to wait. Now, I just think what people are starting to run into is that if your job is to make money on the internet, which is fine. I mean, look, there's a lot of money online. I totally understand that. But if you're dependent on information and they are, the information is embargoed for whatever reason, it's probably not the best idea to count on that. And there are people who are like, we got to keep the lights on and things like that. It is what it is, you know. And so it's unfortunate, but it's also the reality that we're living in at this point in time. And you know, and so because they feel that they can't get you the information because they understand that you all are coming to them for information, they now have to go and put on a show and all that kind of stuff. And that's just the age that is the age that we're living in. Now, I don't subscribe to that. I didn't grow up with any social media. There was no social media when I grew up. Okay. So you all are living in a world where you have grown up around social media, and there were no cell phones when I was a kid. Nothing. I mean, talking on the phone at a restaurant was probably the dumbest thing that I had ever heard of when I first heard of cellular phones. I'm like, why in the world would you have a phone in your car? Aren't you driving? But it's different. I mean, I'm not attacking it. It is what it is. So if Spider-Man 1 was released and Insomniac wasn't yet purchased. No, they weren't. They weren't. So, but again, Sony laid it on thick, you know, taking them down to Atlanta. That's where they film the Marvel movies. The vast majority of them are filmed in Atlanta. And they took them down there. They took their kids down there, and they met some, not all. They met some of the actors playing those roles. Their kids were just enamored. And then when they were all giddy gooned up and smiling and, you know, drinking champagne when the game was coming out, and, you know, Sean Layton walked in there with that check. And those dudes took a 3-week vacation, came back, and Sony was like, hey, we would love you all to join. You know, we love working with you guys on this. You know, Marvel is ecstatic with the product that you all come out with. And we would love for you all to join Sony Studios and just let you be you. And it was easy because they had just got done working with Sony. They're like, well, yeah, we pretty much have worked with you all for a year. We'll go to the shareholders and we'll see what they say. And shareholders they have to by law introduce this, you know, and let the shareholders vote. And they voted unanimously or overwhelmingly to join. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm excited about what these other studios have as well. But I understand these other guys are like, no, they need to have something now. They need it now, you know. And those are the fanboys. You know, those are the fanboys. Like I was listening to Sick Humor and J-Tech talk, and J-Tech specifically was saying things like these people could switch over. They could switch over. That's the way fanboys are going to look at stuff. And Sick Humor was like, well, no, whether they switch over or not can't be helped. The FTC is not here for Sony. This is the government trying to, and this is a hearing. I've said this multiple times. It's not a court case. I mean, it's not a jury in there. There's a judge. There's a hearing. The hearing is the one that the government wanted. So we'll have to see how the government does with the judge. The judge could say, well, we have concerns, but we're going to let it go through. Or they could say, no, we don't have no concerns. It's going through. Or they're going to say, no, it's too much. It's not going to go through. So we'll have to wait and see. You know, definitely going to have to wait and see. But understand what Microsoft has said publicly is opposite what their emails are saying, especially that damaging one that, you know, Phil Spencer was talking about. Yeah, we can't be out here talking. We're going to pull games away, even though that's what we're planning to do. We can't say we're going to do that, you know? So, and it is what it is. So, and it was a deception, said there was no social media going up. Yeah, like I said, so I don't know what it's like, but let me make this, because like I said, I follow some couples that are on social media. And like I said, one couple bought $1 million home cash from their internet money. So there's a ridiculous amount of money that you can make on the internet if you get into a good thing. You know, like Corey Holcomb's got a good thing going on. The late Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, he had a really good thing going. Yeah, I mean, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on the internet. You know, I recommend everybody try. You got cooking shows now. There was a niche for reaction videos. That's pretty much dried up now. That lake's pretty much dry now. So they're moving on to different things. What's up, boycott Activision? So, said there's a lot of stoners around here. There always are, man. There always are. What's up, Monty White? But now I want to talk about this Boulder's Gate. First things first, Boulder's Gate is coming out a month early on PC, early access. And the PS5 version, according to the gaming company, is targeting 60 frames per second. So they're targeting it, which means they may not get it all the time. And I know a lot of you all got the VRR and all that kind of stuff, but it may not work all the time, just so you know. But a good game looks good. I don't know what this game's even about. But the fact that it launches with races and sub races. Okay, well, that's cool. High elf, wood elf, hill elf, mountain dwarf, or hill dwarf, mountain dwarf. What the hell? A gnome? The hell? Halfling, a wood half elf. Oh my god. So again, anyway, it looks like they're targeting 60 FPS, and hopefully they're able to get it on PlayStation. And again, just another game. This is not, let me make this clear. This is not a first-party studio. So again, we'll see how they handle it and what the PS5 can do. But again, the game that we've seen, remember, it's running on a high-end PC. Don't think that's what the PS5 version of the game is going to look like till you see the game running on PS5. So, and maybe one of the game trailers that they have is from there. We'll have to wait and see. But I think as we get closer, we'll get more information. So, but let's see here. But yeah. So, but what do you all think about this 60 FPS game coming? You know, more 60 FPS games coming. That's what Digital Foundry said, that you can expect to see more 60 FPS games coming than you will on Microsoft's console. And I guess we know the hell SpaceX sends dark energy telescope 3 miles away from Earth. Oh, really? Well, okay. We'll go on with the bad self, SpaceX. So, but are you all going to play this game? Are you going to wait for the reviews? And finally, what do you think the Metacritic score is going to be? I'm going to go with 69 because that's my favorite Metacritic score. But what do you all say? Do you all think that this game is going to hit? You think people are going to play it? Do you think they're going to be able to get to 60 FPS all the time? We're going to have to wait and see. We will wait and see. But again, like I said, a lot of gaming news on this podcast today because that's all that was out there. I'm for one, people have asked me my opinion on the FTC thing, and I don't care about it. So, I just don't. I mean, if I've said before, if you want to play their games, buy the console. And because that's the way they feel. They feel that, stuff has been taken away from them. And they've been mad since 2016. These guys have been mad since 2016. And I don't know what else to say about it. They don't care that their games are 30 FPS because they want to be able to say, we have something you all don't have. So the whole power narrative went out the window, okay? And so, and we see that now. You can see it now. I'm a 1440p guy. I play Spider-Man, whether it was Miles Morales or the other Spider-Man from 18 that they remastered. I played it 1440p, even though Sony's TVs did not support 1440p. They do now. But when I bought my Sony TV, it did not support 1440p. It didn't support VRR as either. So now they added it eventually. My TV made the cut, and I suggest if you buy, and I thought that more people, and probably did, went to Best Buy. They got that Sony Master, the 890K or something like that. And a lot of people are enjoying their games on that TV. And if you have a PlayStation, and you turn on, as soon as you hook in your PlayStation, you turn it on, your TV your Sony TV knows it's a PlayStation. It just makes the adjustments for you. So sales split be like 70-30 on PS versus Xbox. They'll lose that. Well, Phil Spencer does not like the 70-30 split. He even said that's the standard split, but you see what I'm saying? But again, we'll have to wait and see. We'll get to that. My personal opinion is that Microsoft is going to pull their games because they're not spending $90 million or $90 billion to simply keep the games where they are. And then you see the sales, they're talking about they maybe surpassed 20 million finally. And some people think that that's not even true. I don't know. I saw the Mortal Kombat sales. It was disgusting what that split is. It's like 60 something percent or 68% on PlayStation. It's something like that. I mean, it was disgusting. So, and it's just simple that these guys aren't playing games. You want to see you can hook the PS5 up to the Samsung monitor and get 1440p. Yeah, you can. I've done it. You sure can. So, I mean, that was one thing I thought about doing was instead of finishing another computer, getting another PlayStation, like a digital one, and then just hook it up. And I would have to get a splitter, or I would just go ahead and be like, oh, I'm going to get another PlayStation. I need another monitor that's 1440p. So, yeah, I actually played the beginning of The Last of Us Part 2 on my 1440p monitor. It's a pain in the ass to get down there and have to do all the damn switching, and pull it out of the computer. But, I was kind of like, well, should I get another PlayStation and then get a 1440p monitor? Part of me's doing that. But, yeah, it looks good. It does look good. Because I have a high refresh rate on mine. I can go up to 165 hertz. It looked good. So, looked good, but I didn't have no sound because the sound, I didn't have the sound part hooked up. So, but it looked good. So I played like the first 15 minutes of it. So, yeah, I would have to, run the HDMI. I didn't have that all hooked up correctly, blah, blah, blah. So, but what do you all think? Do you all think, because again, Sony has said, if you all allow this to go through, nanny boo boo, we're not going to give them access to our dev kits for the next PlayStation, which tells you what? The thing that we were talking about here before about there being another PlayStation, it's real. It's real. Sony let that out the bag, but now we don't know. And again, they don't want Microsoft to know the specs, because I think if they're going to lose this, and I'm going to give you my opinion, Sony will have to build the more powerful console. They're going to have to. They're going to have something, because Microsoft will walk out on that stage and they'll show DLC for Starfield. They will show DLC and new gameplay for the Call of Duty games. They will show all that because it's theirs. They'll show another Fallout game. They'll show all that. And Sony going to have to come back with something. That's why I think they're doing another Uncharted game. And people are assuming that it's going to be with his daughter. I think it's going to be a combination of him and his daughter doing stuff. So that's just my opinion. I mean, hey, I'm just giving you my opinion. So if they get Activision, they will turn full subscription and close Xbox down. Well, we saw information. Me and Thrash were trying to tell you guys. They're doing that anyway. Again, their goal again is to get Game Pass on PlayStation. That's what they want. That's what they want. So, and that's why I think it's going to happen, because they're gonna keep buying publishers, and then Sony's gonna have to do something. They're gonna say, well, okay, what price are we talking about for Game Pass? That's what they're gonna do. Now you'll get all the stuff, but remember, Game Pass is already going to be in tiers. We already know that's gonna happen. And they would say, well, you're going to be you can get tier 2, and tier 2 gives you this. Tier 1 give you this. Tier 3 will give you that. So, and like I said, I think everything all together, when it does come, if you were to get everything, you're looking at about $40 a month. They're already at $35, so you're looking at about $39.99. No, Microsoft's never cared about the console. The console was Bill Gates' idea. But Microsoft buying, Activision, Microsoft doing that's straight out of Bill Gates' playbook. Bill Gates did that with Bungie. That's why he bought Bungie. Like, oh, you're not gonna put Halo on an Apple device. I'm buying the damn company. It is what it is. Well, remember what Steve Jobs said about Microsoft. No innovation, no soul. They just don't do things like that. They buy. That's their DNA with Microsoft. They didn't invent the Windows program. They bought it from somebody else. Okay? As a matter of fact, they didn't buy it. They stole it from Steve Jobs. They didn't create MS-DOS. They bought DOS from someone else and went in. Now they went in and they changed it. They changed it so that DOS's computers would work with IBM's computers so that they could talk to each other through a disk. And then Bill Gates said, we want to license it to other companies, and IBM didn't care because they were the biggest, baddest company on the block. Ricoh was up there with them, and Western Digital, they were all there, but they weren't going to be able to compete with them. And then Microsoft went and sold it to, I remember buying MS, or my mom and dad got MS-DOS, and we bought a computer from Radio Shack, a Tandy 1000. That's what we bought. And I remember loading up MS-DOS and trying to figure it out. So Bungie lift Microsoft. Well, yeah, but now Bungie's there. And that did come up in the court case. Is they brought up Bungie, and Sony testified that Bungie's games are still running on Xbox. And then the judge asked Microsoft that, and Phil Spencer said that is correct. Sony is owned first party by, Bungie's owned first party by Sony, and they are still making games for everybody. They brought up MLB The Show. They said, yes, we cut a deal with MLB. Sony makes the game, which means what? Sony gets the Microsoft dev kit. So they're going to need to know, because the new MLB is already out, correct? So they're already making the next one. So they're going to have to go to Microsoft and say, hey, we need a dev kit by this date in this year so we can start deving the next MLB. And if Sony knows that Microsoft isn't going to do another console, Sony's going to be the first to know. Funny White says PS Plus is arguably better than Game Pass. I agree. I have them both. And with more games and more of a cheaper yearly price point. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Well, he bought Halo. Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He did buy Halo. And remember, Halo was a turn-based strategy game. Kind of like you're seeing with like XCOM and stuff like that. It was like that, but there was a hack put in, and the hack was the first party one, and Bill Gates said, yeah, that's the version I want for Xbox. And that's the one we got. Now it's a TV show that, according to Microsoft, did what they wanted it to do. Now they're going to make a second season, which is fine. So, long form video. Yeah, probably by the end of the summer. I'm going to do my big UFO show on the 8th. Saturday at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock next Saturday on the 8th. So hold on to your shorts. So with all the stuff coming out now. So, especially all that stuff that happened in Arizona that's been covered. So, and not covered. Where does this 35 number? I don't know what you mean by the 35 number. So, Ubi has nothing to do with Xbox. Well, I mean, again, I think Ubi has moved more towards the middle. Ubi used to be closer to Xbox. You gotta remember that. It used to be closer to Xbox than it was to Sony. Now I just think they're right in the middle. Again, CD Projekt Red and EA Games, they're closer to Microsoft. All right? They're closer to Microsoft. Remedy Games and Rockstar Games are closer to Sony. They have developed much better relationships. Yeah, I'll do something long form. Xbox wants Game Pass on Play, but if I'm PlayStation, why would I want? Well, again, because they're buying, you need to understand, if Microsoft has their way, they're going to continue to buy publishers, and then they're just going to say, well, these games won't come to your company, and that's what they talked. That's what those emails were about. You know, that Microsoft could just keep buying publishers, and this would force Sony's hand. But it also proved that, and Lono was saying this, that these mergers and acquisitions are for vertical closures. This is why so many developers you keep seeing are leaving Microsoft, because it's like, well, we don't need you guys here for this stuff, but what we want to do long term. So, but that's why. That is why they would want it. They would you create a situation, and it's the same thing is Facebook did this. With Facebook, when Mark Zuckerberg was got the funding to go nationwide, when he did that, at Facebook, you needed to have a college ID to get on it. It was that was part of the cliquish part of it. You need to be in college and submit your student ID, and because your student ID has different code numbers on it and stuff like that. And he surrounded a lot of the universities with it, because at the time the universities were using MySpace. They were using that, but then Zuckerberg put classmates.com and MySpace out in like the same 3-week period. They were both gone. So, well, again, yes, you need to understand, Jeeves S is correct. Microsoft is going to leave the console market, so that's going to be more money they have. They don't have to do R&D on a new console. They can just go ahead and, have their studios make games. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to have their studios make games and then say, well, if you want these games on PlayStation, we can talk about Game Pass on PlayStation, because we already know they approached them. And right now, Sony said no. I mean, that's fine. It's a business. It's business. Okay. So when Phil Spencer told everybody that Sony is not a competitor to them, he went in court and testified that Sony is an open, hostile competitor to them. So which one is it? Are they not a competitor, or are they a competitor? It's just stuff like that that's just kind of Kotek already don't want Call of Duty day one, but he can say that, but that doesn't mean anything, because once they get it, if they get it, it doesn't matter what they say. Bobby Kotick is going to, he either is going to get $3 billion on the 20th, or he's going to get a ruling, because they have to rule before that day comes down. So so that's it. He's sitting pretty no matter what. He is sitting pretty no matter what. Make sure you hit the like button, and hit the like and subscribe button, share the video, and make sure you vote. We got 67 votes up there. I like that. Let's keep voting. Keep voting. So what is your opinion on this? My personal opinion is I wouldn't pay that kind of money. I would pay that kind of money for exclusivity. That's just me personally, but that's the way my mind thinks. And don't do day one on PC. Yeah, and they had to testify to that too. Most PC gamers do not have the PC asset, because they build their games. Again, shout out to the late great Optimus Code. One of the things you are seeing, if you are playing Final Fantasy 16, with the draw distances and stuff like that, that cannot be done on regular PC. It just can't. You got to up your game. So, yeah, I read that, but there's a Heinz confused as to why new games can't go to PlayStation. Yeah, that was part of the email that got out. Oh, hey, why are we fine? You're buying us, but we've made games for everybody, and you're not allowing us to do that anymore. And of course, you saw what Jim Ryan said. They will take the 10-year deal, but they want the games that they were contractually trying to get to come over. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes, because Sony's kind of putting they're flexing at this point. Oh, you want us to take this? We'll take it, but we want this. This is negotiation. It's like when all that stuff was going on between Disney and Sony. I'm like, it'll work itself out. And then these people were like, no, they're gonna lose the rights to Spider-Man, and then it can come to Xbox. I'm like, guys, it's gonna work itself out. And then Papa Iger and the lead of Sony Pictures, is it Rothman or whatever his name is, went out to lunch and they hammered a deal out over an hour-and-a-half lunch with some BLTs and some orange juice. I mean, it's just you're looking at companies negotiate, and it's just that we didn't know this stuff umpteen years ago. Now you openly find out. You're just like, hey, look, no, that's not going to work. So that it might go through, but with major concessions, possibly. I mean, it's either going to go through with no concessions, some concessions, or it won't go through at all. And I have said this before, the reason why, and I'm proud of myself, multiple people have asked me to comment on it, and I'm not going to do it. Because I believe in the free market. I believe in consumer choice. Everybody here listening now, everybody that will listen later, you're a consumer. You make your own damn decisions on where you spend your money. I can't tell you what to do with your money. So, I mean, if you want to donate to the channel, you can, but I'd rather you just donate a like. Make up your own mind. Look, I went out, I bought an Xbox. I played on it. I played and I used it for a week and a half. I'm like, okay, here's my final judgment on Xbox. It does exactly what the developer said it was going to do. If you like playing old games, and I mean, and let me make this clear, because you can't put a price on nostalgia. So if that's what you like to do, get an Xbox. And instead of a PC, I get it. Hey, you might be able to walk into the store and save up $500. I understand it's expensive to get a PC going. And, you got to get Windows 11 or 10, preferably 11. You're looking at getting a CPU, looking at minimum about $140 for that. You can get some cheaper. A GPU, again, you're looking at a minimum $300 for that. So you're already, and that's not including your memory. And if you want it to be doing LED stuff, and if you just want it, if you don't want that, that's fine. But then you got to decide on RAM, like I said, and then you have to decide on, you're going to get an M2 drive, you're going to get normal hard drive, which I would stay away from at this point. Are you going to get an SSD drive? I mean, I don't know. You all got to make your own decisions as consumers, but overall, you're looking at about $800. I think you're looking at $800. So Windows 10 is free. Well, that's fine, but Windows 11 is starting to push on. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, maybe, yeah, you're right. It is free. Is it really? Okay. Facebook said new studios will be formed. Yeah, didn't some of the people who worked at Microsoft, didn't they go form a brand new studio? I mean, I'm just saying. To an extent, but all you get is watermark and that's it. Well, I mean, again, yeah, that's true. I mean, just go buy Windows 11. It sucks, but because you can just go right there, and I think you can just say Windows. It'll say like Windows 10 already exists. Do you just want to replace it with Windows 11? Yes or no? You click yes, boom, Windows 11. Nova Red says, bonjour, Nova Red. She says, let's take Two, Ubi, and invest in Asian market. Good about Activision and keep up the high quality. Well, I think you're going to see that. I mean, again, this is more for the fanboys. You all need to prepare for life without Call of Duty. Now, I am not a huge Call of Duty player. I've never been. I'm a much bigger, I prefer Rainbow Six because it's much more tactical. Now, Rainbow Six, Wildlife, whatever the hell, Wildlands, whatever it was called, was disappointing because they made it look like a stealth-based game. And then even when the intro, when it comes on, that woman's like, you're gonna have to be quiet, you're gonna have to be stealthy. I'm like, oh good, it's gonna go back to the roots of Rainbow Six. And it didn't do that. It was, and like David Jaffe, I believe, was saying something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing, he said something to the effect of, they tried to do a Ghost Recon game, but Call of Duty was the king. People got to understand. For me personally, we had there was no Call of Duty. We had Rainbow Six and we had Medal of Honor. That's why I said, well, Medal of Honor is canceled through EA. Like they don't have it anymore. So why doesn't Sony look to this, purchase the IP and then make Medal of Honor games? That's just my opinion. And maybe they have tried to do that, and they it just didn't work out for them, and that's fine too. I mean, I'm not. This whole thing, people need to realize that I'm not fanboying about it. I'm just making some consumer observations. So if Microsoft is allowed to get Activision without concessions, Sony will have to go buy a publisher at some point. My personal belief, again, I just want to go on the record, is Remedy, Warner Brothers, and now I will put Ubisoft in there. That's just my opinion. But am I going to bang a table and say, Sony should not be putting their games on PC? Sony should not be doing this. Sony needs to go buy. I'm simply saying they will be in a position where they have to go do. They're going to have to go possibly buy a studio. You know, I mean, you can expect Sony to say something. This decision comes down against them. Sony will say, you know, we're still committed to bringing our fans the best games ever, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say something like that because they have to say something like that, right? But, you know, and Microsoft will say, you know, we will, you know, our fans will be able to use a subscription service and play these games mobile and stuff like that. So again, I just have to, you know, it's business at the end of the day. I don't have an issue with, I've said this before, I don't have an issue with what Microsoft is doing because they have admitted they can't win. So they're trying to change the rules. GTA would be a monster buy for Sony. Well, don't they own a bunch of other stuff? They would own Rockstar Games. Don't they own? You're just saying for them to buy GTA, or you think they should try to buy, you know, the whole Rockstar thing, which would be too much money. You know, it should be too much money. But that is my opinion. You know, because the way Sony buys that $3.6 billion. I mean, I still think Jim Ryan and Herman Holtz wants a big splash buy, like Sean Layton. I mean, Sean Layton is the one that the whole Insomniac Games thing, that was his drop the mic moment. But yeah, and Herman Holtz and Jim Ryan want their own drop the mic moment, and they haven't had it yet. Take-Two, $24 billion. Yeah, that's too much money. That is. I mean, you have to think a lot smaller. That's why I think Square Enix and or Capcom. I think Ubisoft is what? Am I right? Is it 14 billion? Is that what it is? I can't remember what it is at this point. So, because I didn't even dream of thinking about this stuff again. So let's see here. Ubisoft market cap USD is 3.32 billion. So it's actually would be cheaper to buy them. Now you have to convert this to yen. So, but yeah, 3.32 billion is their market cap. That's in euros. So let's look at it in yen. Let's see here. What is the market size of Ubisoft? It's worth 3.24 billion. That's US. How do I find that in? Okay, let's just do this. Let's just call it 3.3 billion yen to US. 22. That's a big ass number. Holy smoke. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 10 numbers. That's trillion, isn't it? Great day in the morning. It would cost Sony 22 trillion yen. Round that. This is called 23 trillion, and that's and you gotta do the VIC. I mean, you gotta pay more. Okay, you're gonna have to pay more. So I'd say I'll just put a number out there. It'd be 24 billion yen to buy Ubisoft. Jesus. I mean, jeez, I should have said that. So, Lord, don't strike me down right there. Jeez, that's a lot of chicken wings. Apple can buy it for Sony. Why would they do that? Apple's not getting into gaming yet. So well, it's not, none of the companies are for sale, Machiavelli. It's that they have to make an offer, and then they have to take the offer to the shareholders. If it's not enough, you got to remember, EA tried to buy Rockstar years ago. I don't know if y'all remember that, but Rockstar fought them off because they had like $100 million they had cash on hand of like $100 million. So they were able to push that into the company and give the stockholders a bigger slice of pie. I mean, I hope that makes sense. From Software cannot be bought. They've already invested into it. Square Enix right now, this costs Ubisoft costs a little more than Square Enix. So I understand that. So it's a lot of wings and steak. Yeah, that's a lot of, but that's a lot of eating high on the hog for the brother, man. So yeah, wow. I mean, holy cow, wow. Wow. Let's look at Final Fantasy 16 sales. So if you don't know, then remember, if you don't remember how Square was allegedly having issues, and with the that's what was reported. I did not believe that. You know, they were upset with the pre-orders for Final Fantasy 16, and it just so happened, looky here, that it says they missed out on a series record, but if you go down here, they make a correction. Here's your update. Square Enix has officially confirmed the early reports from Japan stating that Final Fantasy 16 has surpassed 3 million units through shipments and digital sales. Holy cow. Holy cow. Now, I assume this guy can change his clothes. I'm assuming that. All right, I certainly hope so. Please don't tell me he can't change his clothes. He's setting fires. Don't tell me this man can't change his clothes. So we're delighted to announce we've shipped and digitally sold it. Yes, that is from official Final Fantasy folk. So congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, and I certainly hope. So it says here they were slightly panicked, but I just don't believe that, you know. So congratulations, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy's triumphant return to the top. And they're back on top, and that's exactly what Sony wanted for Square Enix, to get something out there that, you know, that puts this franchise back on top. And you still got Rebirth coming. Like I said, I have no idea what order to play these damn games in now, because it's, you know, I'm hearing you got to play Crisis Core, then you got to play the Final Fantasy VII reboot, and it's just too much to keep in order. So I'm having trouble keeping the Batman stuff in order. So, no, I'm not doing no imitations of J-Tech. Let me make that clear. I'm not. Do not take it that way. I'm just doing. That's my fanboy voice. So. You know, that is just a straight fanboy voice. So yeah, do not you know, try, you know, it's nothing against J-Tech. You know, shout out to J-Tech. J-Tech calls himself a console warlord. So he is telling you who he is, and I got no issue. My issue, this is why I got chocolate. That's why we haven't looked at Chocolate Thunder today. Okay, because everybody's doing exactly what they're supposed to do, right? Ain't nobody out here lying. Ain't nobody out here saying this, and this. You know, it is what it is. And 6 days later, 3 million units. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. That's just one platform. Exactly. So, I mean, I bought it. You all saw, what you all call it, the receipt. I just haven't played it yet, but I haven't played Resident Evil 4 yet either. I haven't played the DLC to Aloy since they fixed the game. I did, however, go back in and beat, what's the name of that damn game again? The Last of Us, and had different clothes. Apple buys it for Sony and gets its version of games. That still doesn't make it. Sony has enough money to get Ubisoft. So I don't understand the comment. So, but no, that's the way that's the way fanboys sound to me. I mean, you know, I don't know. They don't need to be doing this. I mean, you know, this needs to be this. And no, Sony just needs to cater to this. I mean, that's what a fangirl is going to say. You know, and I'm more of a consumer first. So, again, I didn't let anybody let me make up my mind about the Xbox. I mean, people kept on telling me it was trash. I bought it. I'm like, all right, it's not trash, but it's not what Randall Thor and Dealer Gaming and all these other people said it was going to be. It was exactly what the developers said. Listen to the developers. which I did. I'm like, okay, it's just doing exactly what these developers said it was going to do. You know, what it's not doing is what Dealer Gaming and D-Batch and the rest of those people did. So told me. It is what it is. Maybe PlayStation next console is going to be partnered with Apple. Where are you all getting that from? Okay. Why people want Sony to owe American companies? The companies I suggested aren't owned by Americans. I suggest Warner Brothers mainly because why? Because Warner Brothers makes movies, Sony makes movies. Warner Brothers makes TV shows, Sony makes TV shows. Warner Brothers has a music division, so does Sony. I'm like, well, that makes sense. You know, Ubisoft is owned by the Canadians, French Canadians. And in my other company, I said that they should look into try to get is Remedy. And I think Remedy is, I can't remember who owns it. Is that in Poland or something like that? I can't remember. Hold on, let's go ahead and use Yahoo. You know, where is Remedy Games located? That's in Finland. All right, so again, so I stand corrected. It's in Finland. So no, this is not. I'm not really. I've named 3 companies. 3 out of 4 companies I've named aren't American companies. So you remember Sony CFO said they still have like $8 billion for acquisitions. Yes, but you need to also understand that number will go up at the beginning of the new fiscal year. And number 2, it's for all of Sony. You need to understand that. I mean, that's Sony movies and TV. They get access to the same amount of money. And I think it went up to 25 billion. It went from 20 billion to 25 billion. It may go up more. I mean, I don't know. Nova wants Sony to be in debt to Apple. Yeah, I don't know why. They have enough money to buy. Like, they have enough money to buy straight up every company that I said if it was for sale. So even maybe not Warner Games. I mean, that may be a different animal, because that would give you all the Harry Potter stuff. That would give you all the Mortal Kombat stuff, all the Batman stuff. So that's a lot of IP that you would have. Apple buying Take-Two. We have to wait and see. Apple doesn't. Yeah, Space Wolf's right. Sony doesn't need to buy Square. They already work together. Yeah, that's true. They have a good working relationship. And Square has even said it publicly. They're sticking with Sony. So it's what it is. It is what it is. So D-Batch, aka the Canadian comment. Yeah, and his lion eye. So I have to wait and see. I'm Gen X. I have a PlayStation. I have a gaming PC that I'm upgrading. I have an Xbox. I'm in the top 10% of gamers as far as I have a gaming PC. I've got an OLED TV that does all these bells and whistles. And I have 2 gaming consoles. I don't have a Switch. And that's the one I don't have. So. Yeah, and again, you have to understand, Microsoft did lie about the IP from ZeniMax. They have kept, and let me make it clear, they have kept the older games still running. Okay, that's true. That's that's, but it's just my opinion, guys. I mean, you feel free to disagree. Nobody's gonna, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, "Oh no, I mean, you're wrong. And Sony needs to do." I'm simply saying, in my opinion, if the Activision deal goes through, and I don't know if it will or not, if the Activision deal goes through, then Sony may have to look at buying a publisher at that point. Okay, that's it. I mean, you can disagree with me. I mean, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to get mad. Maybe the podcast I do tomorrow will be, does Sony need to buy a major publisher? It'll be something like, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll set it up. It'll be, does Sony need to buy? I'll put, if Activision, if ABK deal goes through, do you think Sony should buy a publisher? It's gonna be a yes or no question. We may have a discussion about it. So, yeah, Pete Hines was bothered. I agree with you. I mean, again, They may have said something to Bethesda like, we're going to purchase you, but you can still keep making games. And, but and we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, a lot of stuff came out during that trial. Even IGN was like, man, Microsoft said a bunch of stuff publicly that they didn't really mean. Yeah, you're right. They didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Had a gnat get in front of me. So, I personally believe they do need to buy Square Enix, but that's just my opinion. I know we just kind of spoke on that. That work together. I know Nova Red is obsessed with Apple. I think Nova Red is an Apple owner. I think that's what's going on. So, so I think if this is because I think Nova Red, you have two accounts, right? You have one with your husband and then one here. So I think this is the male version of Nova Red. Usually the female version brings up Chocolate Thunder at some point. And none of y'all have brought up Chocolate Thunder, and I'm proud of you. So, you got to, you don't have to worry about Chocolate Thunder right now. So, because ain't nobody over here lying. So, were they not discussing? Well, I think Microsoft can put out whatever they want to try to buy. So we have to just kind of look at it like this. Well, they can write down everybody that they're targeting to purchase. But yeah. And remember the nightmare, hit the like button and make sure you vote. I like that. 82 votes. Let's try to get 8 more votes on there. But right now, 2-1, everybody agrees that Microsoft is going to pull IP or pull all their first party games. So that's 2-1. So let's see if we can get a few more votes before we shut it down here. So, Nelson Gaming said you showed your wife the video of the guy who met Chocolate Thunder and she laughed. What part did she really laugh at when he said I got double life? Oh man. A hard time to trust any billion-dollar business. I agree. Nova Red said her man owns an Apple. I always wonder because she keeps on bringing up Apple. So I know Nova Red showed her man the video, the dude talking about when OG Silverback talked about Chocolate Thunder. So you're in bad shape when like OG Silverback said, these guys that got life, they sleep up on the top bunk, and then for some reason these dudes go to sleep beneath them, laying on their stomach, and then they climb off the top of their bed and they knock them out. Then they pull their pants down. Then it's like what if the deal gets blocked? Oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what they're going to do. Well, I mean, you got to understand that this is just a hearing. It's not the actual lawsuit on the deal. That's not till like September, something like that in the fall. Okay. So that's why I keep saying to people, it doesn't really matter what this judge decides, because if the judge says, well, I don't, because the FTC hasn't unloaded everything they have. They said that they were holding back, different email for their court case. The FTC can just drop it as well. They can just say, well, you know what? They don't, this judge doesn't feel like that we have enough evidence, or we didn't present enough evidence to block this merger. We're going into an election year. So I think a lot of stuff they'll stop. So this judge, this judge may have both sides go back to the table and come back September. It could be, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That we're going to find out, because we have to remember by July 20th, they have to have a decision or they can't do it. That's why this injunction is here. They're like, okay, if you all, Microsoft said, if they give us this injunction, if they stand by, we can't go through with this deal. So the FTC, when Microsoft filed it, or sorry, when the FTC filed, that's what Microsoft came out and said through their legal department. So here's what it is. Apple and Sony work together. Yeah, Sony works with a lot of people. They work with IBM, they work with Microsoft and Apple, Oracle, Amazon. Yeah, they all those companies are billion-dollar companies. So billion and trillion-dollar companies. So they're all going to work together. So they going all in on this deal. Who is? Putting all their eggs in one basket. That's because they ready to say bye to the console market and go third party. Well, if they go third party, they're not. They in essence got emails saying that that's not happening. So I do know, however, they want Game Pass on PlayStation, and PlayStation knows that too. Microsoft needs me. Well, I have Microsoft products here, so I'm fine. I've got 3. How many controllers do I have? I got 3 Microsoft controllers. I've got I've got joysticks from them. I'm good. So yeah. Yeah, Sony and Apple have a partnership, and Microsoft and Sony have partnerships too. So and be aggressive. Apple, when they need to be, Apple likes where they are. They're getting enough. They're getting enough food off the tree. They don't want more than they need. Much more perfectly balanced, as Thanos would say. What does he say? Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But yeah, I could. I don't know what's going to happen if the deal goes through. I'd be more concerned with King Thrash and Sick Humor, who got that FTC block the deal song. They're gonna, they may have to do a remaster or remix of that if the deal goes through. So, but yeah, if the deal doesn't go through, there're gonna be a lot of upset people too. So I don't care either way. So I've always thought that if you want something, you go buy it. Even if, I guess, if you have to cut grass or don't donate sperm or whatever you got to do, go ahead and do that to get what you want. So, or do like I do and wait for the price to come down to I can go buy it. I paid my TV off last week or week before last. So now I'm looking for a sound bar. So everything is, I can either hopefully something hits during maybe during football season, or hits during, things will go on sale like that. So Amazon's having a sale right now. I bought some stuff for the computer, so I'm good. iPhones use Sony cameras. Well, that's why their cameras are very good. The new Apple headsets full of Sony's hardware. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, they're working together. Yeah, multiple phones use Sony's cameras. Yeah, I don't know about Android, but it could be. It could be. I'm not sure. So, but yeah, don't get too. I'm not too concerned with it either way. Boycott Activision said if the deal doesn't go through, Sony still has to be worried about Microsoft purchases. They should continue purchasing. I don't disagree with that. That's why I thought the top 4 or 5 companies I threw out, the one American company is Warner Brothers, the one in Canada, 2 in Japan, and then 1 in Finland. Those 5 companies, Sony should try to get 2 of the 5. That's just my opinion, however. So, and you have to be realistic. I don't think they go over 10 billion yen, which you can convert over. I don't think they go over 10 billion yen for a studio. That's why, hey, look, Remedy Games. We looked at Remedy's. Did we look at Remedy? Or was it Ubi? We looked at, let's look at Remedy Games. Yes, Remedy Games. Yeah, let's look at their market cap. They're again 3,326. So call it 333 million euro. That's in euros. So what is that in yen? So you have to look at it. It's close to another 22 trillion yen. That's 3 point. Well, no. That was the billion. So let's look at that in. Let's look at this in yen. Okay. Okay. 3. Just go 3. The euros to yen. I meant to put million. Hold on. We're gonna do this conversion right now. All right. So Sony would have to offer 52 trillion yen. Okay, because that's not as strong. It is. So they need to build their current studios. I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, I've got an Xbox. Yeah, I agree with Marlon when Marlon Gaming Nation is saying to you guys that they need to have more gameplay. I don't disagree. So, but I thought Marlon, he got blanket rolled when during that Sony showcase when he was talking about all the stuff they were going to have when they clearly put out in their statement what they were going to have. So it's like, well, I mean, he ain't listening to it, and he walked into that cell and Chocolate Thunder got him. So it is what it is. But my own opinion as a consumer is just simply go ahead and get ready to start. Go buy an Xbox if you want to make sure you can play their games, until all this kind of works itself out, and it will work itself out. It'll work itself out. I promise. You feel like they should ignore redundant companies? I agree. All these companies, however, give them something that, I mean, Capcom makes westernized RPGs. That's what Capcom is doing. It's not, and even the fighting game, is a Western styled RPG. But Capcom and I would say Capcom and Ubi give them the most diversity. If they were to put those two together, you're looking at, a build. What would it be? I mean, it was 52 trillion yen times 2. So I don't even know what kind of money that would be, but that's how much Sony would have to come up with. So AI car. Yeah, Sony said at CES they're working with AI on their cars. So that's true. That is true. Yep, Chocolate Thunder, you got that right. Y'all are protected from Chocolate Thunder. You have a pardon. So, yeah, it is what it is. So. But Witch Caller said that he played the video of that guy that met Chocolate Thunder and she started laughing. So. So saying this for like 6 years. Yeah, I know you all have. But yeah, to me, Remedy also gives them the engines. They give them the engines that they like to have. Ubi puts out games at a crazy clip. Well, again, I know what Ubi said. They want to stay in the middle of it all. They're not trying to do one thing or another. I literally, I understand that's exactly what they said, but it could be imperative that Sony go buy a publisher. And it won't get blocked because they'll be like, look, y'all allowed this other deal to go through, so. And Sony, if they were to buy Ubi, they could just simply say, yeah, there's no doubt that we're going to keep some of these games on Xbox. We're going to do that. But there's going to be some games that are going to only come to PlayStation. So there's not a doubt in my mind. Let's just say they bought Ubi. You think that Lucas Arts Games is going to say, well, this can only be on your PlayStation? They're going to look at Sony like, yeah, right, and hang up the phone. So. Well, we were converting euro to yen. So that's all. So what 33 million euros costs X amount in yen, because Sony's home is a Japanese company, so they deal in yen. So you have to convert that over, and this is how much money they would have to pay in yen, in their money, to go ahead and do that deal. But again, so Remedy was 3 million. And the other companies were cheaper than Bungie. But now they overpaid for Bungie for multiple reasons. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. I think they will do something. I think they'll do something. The only one you can't really get anything out of is Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers themselves are not going to, more than likely not. They, excuse me, I'm sorry. They have divisions, and they would have to sell divisions of stuff. So Ubisoft fell in price. They used to be $5 billion, now $3 billion. Yeah, I remember when they were contracting. Yeah, I do remember that. But their Star Wars games, who people were, remember, people were more worried about their Star Wars game than Quantic Dream Star Wars game. And it sounds like Quantic Dream Star Wars game sounds like a disaster, you know, but maybe they can pull it out of the fire. And I do know, is it the Old Republic? So, or the New Republic? I forgot what it's called. You know, because there's a TV show based in the New Republic, and there's people doing a game on that. So, like, the Star Wars galaxy is so big. We're all familiar with the Skywalker timeline, but they're going away from that. That's what the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, that's what it's about. Osaka, that's more extended universe stuff. So they're going away from that. The Division. Yeah, Ubisoft, the Division you can't crawl. Well, yeah, remember, if they buy Ubisoft, they get the Division, they get Rainbow Six. And again, I like playing the Division, but nobody wants to play with me. So nobody wants to play with me. All right, we got 90 votes. Let's go ahead and end our poll. Shout out to all you all who voted. Shout out to all you all who voted. And you can see, there you go. The poll was complete with 91 votes. Pretty much 2-1. Most of y'all think, and that's, if I voted, that's what I would have voted for, yes. So it just means that the majority of you guys are prepared to live without these IP. Not unless you want to go to the store and buy stuff. You know, if you want to be safe with it, then buy a Series S, hook it up to a monitor. I've said this to you all multiple times. Like, hey, look, it gives you access to the games. You'll be able to play them. You'll be able to play it on a monitor and get really good, you know, feedback. Just do that. Just do that. It won't hurt your feelings. You will be paying for Game Pass. You will have to download the Xbox app, which is a complete travesty. Don't get me started. So, you know, it's a complete travesty. You think Ubi feels like a PlayStation studio, and it covers a lot live service games too. You play the Division 2 on PS5. Well, send me an invite and I'll play. But remember, I'm only like level 1. So, but how hard can it be just to go out there and shoot people? But yeah, I've not played. I played the Division 2 with the, I mean, I like it, but I just wish they had a single player version of the game. You get to a point whereby Mission 12, I think it's Mission 12, you need people to help you. And they designed the game like that. So they designed the game like that. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But overall, I like the game. I like that game series. I stopped playing because it's like, well, you know, level 12, level 13, it's pretty much, it's pretty difficult. I won't say it's impossible. I know some people that played it up to level 20 by themselves. So, but even they were saying, yeah, once I got to level 18, level 20, it was just too difficult. So, but yeah, this we'll have to wait and see. But I enjoyed the Division. So, but guys, I've enjoyed talking to you. Been here about an hour and a half. Appreciate the conversation. We'll continue it tomorrow morning. And, you know, a lot of people are off on Monday. I'm not one of them. So I will be going to work on Monday. So tomorrow is a lazy Susan type of day. Lazy Susan day tomorrow for the kids. So, but I will talk to you guys later, okay? Just keep playing the games.